The Leominster City Council meeting is brought to you by the generous support of the Service Oil Company, 345R Lancaster Street, Leominster, 978-466-1922.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The public forum is an opportunity for any member of the audience to speak on any matter specifically listed on the council agenda. Speakers will be asked to come to the microphone and state their formal name and address along with identifying the specific item or items they wish to address. Each speaker is respectfully asked to keep their comments within 2 minutes. The council will not be responding or answering any questions. However, at the discretion of the council president, clarification may be given. We don't have anyone that signed up. Would anyone like to come to the microphone and address the council? Second call, third and final call. Public forum is closed. Good evening. The special meeting of April 17, 2018 is now in session. Please stand and join me in a salute to the flag. pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll begin with the roll call vote, beginning with the honorable members of the council. Councilor Frida.
Present.
Councilor Dombrowski.
Present.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Present.
Councilor Feckley.
Present.
Councilor Bonanza.
Present.
Councilor Oettinger.
Present.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Present.
Councilor David Cormier.
Present.
All 9 members are present. I'm going to go to the Vice President. Do you have any records at all this evening, the minutes?
I have no records
Okay, all right,
this
good.
evening,
All right.
Mr. President.
Okay. Okay, so let me explain the process we're going to go through this evening with the agenda. I had the opportunity this afternoon to have a discussion with the city solicitor to qualify the process. The last time we went through this, it was a little different, but right now, we are following the legal protocol in order to get to this point. So the Ways and Means Committee, I first would like to extend gratitude on behalf of the members of the council and myself for all the work you did to bring us to this point. It was a lot of work, after hours, the interviews that you went through. I had the pleasure of attending them. They were extremely fair and constant, and it was excellent. So you did a very nice job, so we really appreciate it. So the Ways and Means Committee has 3 candidates for the position of the Assistant City Clerk for the City of Leominster that will be here this evening. Each one of them will come to the microphone, sit at the desk, and be interviewed in session. At the conclusion of the last interview, what will happen is we will remain in session, and I will take it from that point. And I will be looking for a motion on the floor of a counselor, standing counselor, and a second. At that point, we will vote on that motion. We will not be entertaining a second or third candidate at that point. If in fact that candidate who was motioned receives the 5 votes, then what will happen at that point is they are confirmed, and that's the end of the process. There's no need to bring this back on the agenda for ratification. And it's not a question of we put all 3 of them in front of you for a vote where one got 6, one got 7, one got 9, or anything like that. So that's basically, that's the direction we're going. Do we have any question on that? Okay. Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yep. Thank you very much. Does the Ways and Means Committee chairperson, did they make a recommendation to the council
No.
based on their, no?
No.
Okay.
No, not at this point. The Ways and Means Committee is actually done. They've done their work. They brought 3 candidates to us. So anyone on the floor can make a motion for any one of the candidates, okay? After the interview. Any other questions? Okay. Madam Chair of Ways and Means, the first candidate before us this evening, please.
Yes, Mr. President, the first candidate that we have here is Lisa A. Como.
Good evening, everyone. Hi there.
Okay, thank you. Lisa, thank you for coming this evening. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Getting all set for the summer rec program?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're gearing up, getting busy. Very, very
Okay.
busy, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open the floor to the members of the council in general. If anyone would like to ask you a question, I'm gonna start with left to right.
Okay.
If anyone has a question, please raise your hand. Okay, can you give us a little bit of background on yourself?
I've worked for the city of Leominster for the last 12 and a half years as the administrative assistant at the recreation department. Before that, I worked 15 years in a job at the Salvation Army as an administrative assistant and a program coordinator. I have family, live in Leominster. My daughter just graduated from college and is a full-time student. I love Leominster. My husband's from here, his grandparents are from here, so it's a great community. So, a little
Okay.
bit about myself.
All right. Any other questions? Counselor Shalfo Zephyr, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa, for coming down.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you applied for the job and why you think you'd be a good match for it?
I applied because I was looking for something more challenging. I've been there for 12 and a half years. I know everything to know. I want to move up in my career, look for something a little bit more, like I said, something more challenging, something different. So that's why I applied. Not that I don't enjoy working there, because I do very much so, but I was just looking for a little bit more, something different, a change, a little more challenge.
Do you have a lot of interaction with the public?
Oh,
In
absolutely.
your current position?
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. They all come into the office. I don't know if you guys been there, but it's a very small office. When you walk into the office, there's only 2 desks there. So when that first person's busy, I help the next person answer the phone, do programs. So there's a lot of interaction with the public constantly. We actually have a program there this week. We have 25 children enrolled in an April school vacation program. So it's right at Barrett Park in the program building, so it's kind of fun to see the parents and the kids come in, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other comments or questions? Counselor Cormier?
Yeah, I just, you know, I know that this job, you know, involves a lot of multitasking. You have somebody at the counter, the phone rings, you know, maybe a city councilor comes in to haunt you, or all these types of things that, you know, go on all day, people requesting information. But also, you know, it involves from time to time, you know, managing personnel as well,
Yep.
you know, in the absence of the city clerk. So I was just wondering if you, you know, in your current role or in any other role that you've managed, you know, people in any, you know, way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. As you know, I'm the administrative assistant, so when Judy's not there, which she's actually been out with the flu since Thursday, so it's my job, I'm the next in command. So I manage the office, I manage the maintenance staff, I take calls, if there's problems, I handle it, so I'm the next in line. The job prior to this one, where I ran the Homelessness Intercept program, I was the director. I was in that position for 10 years. I had 4 staff under me. So I ran that program solely for those 10 years. And then after we lost our state contract, I moved back to the Salvation Army main office and then became the administrative assistant for the last 5 years there. So I'm very familiar with, you know, working with others, and, you know, directing where need be. And I multitask very phenomenally. Everyone, to my fault probably, everyone says that I could be on the phone, type a letter, and then talk to somebody at the same time, and they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just, you have to, because we, too, at the rec department, especially this time of year, very busy. The phones are ringing, people coming in, you know, I got the maintenance guy, I need an answer, we need a key for this, we need that for this, so it's a constant juggling thing too, so I'm very used to doing 10 things at the same time, so.
Okay, all set?
All
Thank
set for
you.
the moment, thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Counselor.
Thank you. Lisa, do you have a role with the Recreation Commission? Do you provide support staff?
Take notes, yes,
Oh, you
I
do?
take the notes, I
Okay.
take the minutes, type the minutes, so you see them every month, those are, yep. But other than that, I attend the meetings, take the minutes, that's what I do for the Recreation Commission.
Do you send out the agenda? Do you communicate with them in
Yes, I
advance
do.
of the meeting? Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I send emails out as a reminder, I come post the agenda within that time frame that we have to post it by. So, yeah, that's all, I'm very familiar with that.
Your minutes are very detailed.
And Judy loves it that way.
Absolutely, no, you get a real picture of what's going on.
Well, she says that you should write them as if someone who doesn't know what's going on
Right.
can get the total picture. So sometimes they get a little long, 6 pages is a little long. At times, try to scale it back a little bit, but it is good to have all that information in there. But
Yeah, no, I agree, thank you.
you're
Okay,
welcome.
thank you. Any other questions? Counselor Feckley?
Just go back to the minutes. I
Yes.
read them with relish.
Okay.
I read, and I find a lot about what's going on in the
Mhm.
city of Leominster from reading those
Okay,
minutes.
good.
Yeah, so keep, you know,
Okay.
that would be something we would miss if you left that, but that's okay. All right, so one of the, you know, I personally know how you interact with people. I mean, I've worked with you several times at the Recreation Department. But one of the comments that you made on your resume, I thought was very intriguing. When you worked as the weekend counselor at the Salvation Army Booth Home,
Yep.
and you said you oversaw the daily routine of 8 families,
Yep.
and you saw to it that rules were followed. So, you know, we do that at home with our families, and you see to it the rules are followed. But can you just kind of, you know, give me an example of how within an office environment with 4 or 5 people, you know, you may or may not be in control that day, or if the city clerk is out or whatever, how you would handle making sure that rules were followed?
That's a good question. Well, you know, you handle everything, you know, differently. Every situation's different. You know, we had one today, actually. You know, you have rules for, like, you know, different programs, and you know, the situation was different. There was a hardship, so we had to, you know, work something out. So there's different things. And then we sit, we talk about it. If there's a problem or I see something, you know, I'll just, you know, hey, can you make sure that, you know, this is done or that's done, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, not to point it out, but just kind of there, you know, overseeing, keeping an eye on who's doing what and what's going on. You kind of have to do that, and that's part of that multitasking thing. So you're not just blinders when you're working, you're kind of keeping an eye. You know, I listen to conversations, you know, we have new staff in the office, so you kind of listen to make sure that they're, you know, doing an okay job, and then if they're not, you just mention something after, you know, okay, we need to do it this way next time, you know, kind of thing. And, oh, okay, you know, kind of thing, or whatever. So I'm very good, I think, at, you know, teaching, tutorial, because I'm very patient. I take the time, and, you know, we just work through it, so.
You learn a lot through osmosis when you're working.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, you do. It's not set, you know, things change, things move, they're fluid. People change, there's different scenarios, so it's not always a yes and no. Sometimes you have to take a step back and go, okay, let's think about this, you know, what's the course of action, what would be the best course of action, you know, that kind of thing, so.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Dabrowski.
Yeah, Lisa, can you just describe for the council some of the office skills and computer skills that you have that you would be bringing to the city clerk's office?
Sure, absolutely. Back in the day, I taught myself Lotus. That is no longer. So then I've learned Microsoft Office. I do Excel, Word, obviously, because that's what I type the minutes on. I've taught myself Publisher this year, because the brochure, which I probably should have brought you guys some, I did that in Publisher this year, so we flipped it over into a new format. So I took that on this year, because just for something different, change, the format is easier to finagle and put things into it. We have the MCC program that I believe city clerk uses for dog licenses and that kind of thing. I already know because we created it, we brought it into the office. I helped the company design the program, the piece for the rec, and I work with them on a day-to-day basis to fix it, change it, make it better. I worked with the new company when we started our new website to design our website, so I've done that as well. I was the designer of how to set it up and what tabs and that kind of thing, with Judy's oversight, of course. So I'm not like computer literate as far as like a website. We have someone who does post everything for us. That's the only thing I don't know. So we send it to her, she puts everything on there. But I do know how to create within MCC registration forms and, you know, do reconciliations, because I do deposits too. I do all the deposits with the rec department. I do all the warrants. So I'm familiar with all that as well. So I kind of do a little bit of everything kind of needed that's to run that program, you know, that office.
So, Councilman?
Well, just one other question is that Leominster has a diverse population, and can you describe for the council your experience dealing with the public in your current job?
In my current job, we deal with a lot of diverse situations. Right now, we have Hispanic, we have, you know, African American, we have all the populations. People come in every day. Some of them don't speak a lot of English, so we just try to listen to them, help them as best we can. clarify what their needs are. So we're very familiar with working with a lot of different populations at the Recreation Department office, so.
All set? Thank you. Any other counselors? The grand slam question, why should we hire you as our new assistant clerk?
I think I would be a good fit. I'm very organized, I'm very detail-oriented, hardworking, I always give 110%. I will be here early, I will stay late. I am here for you, and I take pride in my work. I'm not gonna go home and just leave stuff undone. If it needs to get done, it's gonna get done. I do that now, and that's how I am and always will be. I'm an A-type personality, everything has to be organized. I think I would be a great fit and do a great job for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Do we have the names? That's Lisa. Who's the second one? Yeah, I guess. No. Counselor, is the next candidate here? Not yet? Okay. 20 past. We're going to remain in session.
Yes, she is. She's
Okay,
walking.
great.
Oh, good. All right.
Would you like to join us?
Where?
Right in here, please.
Come right,
Okay.
yeah, this way.
Okay, this is our second interview candidate, Melanie Rich.
Hi. Hi there.
Hi, Melanie.
Madam Chair, if you can introduce her to the councilors, please.
Yep. Melanie Rich is here to interview for the position of Assistant City Clerk before the council. And you've met me.
Yes.
Gail Beckley, and Councilor Shalfo Zephyr. You've met Councilor Dombrowski and Councilor Frida, Councilor Marchand, President, Councilor David Cormier, Councilor Pauline Cormier, Councilor Frank Ardinger, and Councilor Mark Bedanza.
Nice
So,
to meet you all.
here we are.
Okay, you want to just break the ice with the councilors that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet? Tell us a little bit about your background and.
Okay, well, I'm relatively new resident of Leominster. I moved out here in December with my daughter after the passing of my husband, and I really don't have much to say. It's just her and I work, in Boylston. I've been there for 15 years, and I would really look forward to being here. It's very extremely close to me. I know I'd be a good fit, and so I'm here. I couldn't pass up the opportunity when I saw it, so here I am. I'm
Okay,
glad to
thank
be
you.
around too.
Thank you. Can we start with your professional background? If you can share with the council some of the things that you've done in the past and current as well.
Well, I currently work for the town of Boylston for the Conservation and Board of Health. I've been there, as I said, 15 years. I also work for the planning board for the town of West Boylston, and recently I've taken on a position of the conservation and earthworks for the town of Northborough
Okay,
as our administrative assistant and all.
thank you. I'll open it up to the floor of the council for any questions. Councilor David Cormier?
Yeah, thank you. I can certainly, I'm looking at your background, and obviously this job involves a lot of multitasking. And I'm pretty confident that any office type, or most office type settings, and I'm sure this is no exception where you've been, involves that. But, this position also involves managing people from time to time, in the absence of the city clerk. And so I was just wondering, if you've ever had to manage a workforce of any kind.
No, I don't have any managerial experience, but I don't foresee that being a problem. I mean, I just don't see that being an issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? There was a question that was raised last time regarding dealing with a diverse population.
Mm-hmm.
So Leominster certainly is a melting pot when it comes down to diversity.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just share any experiences you've had in that area or what you anticipate.
Well, I really haven't, as I said, I haven't had a lot of diversity in the towns that I work in, but I don't have an issue with people or anybody that comes in to do their business. To me, you're just another person that's coming in to either pay a bill or vote or whatever it is they want to do. I don't see an issue with that
Okay.
either.
Okay, thank you. Did I see a hand go up over here? Councilor Shalfo Zephyr, go
Thank
ahead.
you very much. Thank you very much for coming down to talk with us. Can you talk a little bit about the support work that you do for the various boards, how big the boards are, and what specifically some of those tasks include?
Okay, well, my Conservation Commission, there's a 7-member group, and they basically only show up once a month for a meeting. I take and I field any calls, any questions, anything I can't answer, I put out the email to ask for their opinion or what for them to handle. I take and I prepare all the legal ads, I put the ads in the paper, I have the notices posted, I take care of our website, I do take the meeting minutes and transcribe the meeting minutes, and I just keep them prepared, pay their bills, anything that needs to be done on a daily basis, I do for them. And that's for all the boards. They're pretty much similar, different boards, different people, but pretty much the same, you know, as far as taking care of them with, you know, just taking care of them. Making sure all that when they come to meetings, they're prepared. Everything I do, I'm prepared.
Do you prepare the agenda and send that out in advance of the meeting?
Yeah.
And all of the materials that are necessary for the meetings as well?
They don't, actually none of them, of the boards that I work for, get them in advance. They look at them at the meeting. But everything's all ready. They basically have their packets, and everything is ready for each member when they get there. Because more than likely, most of the hearings that we have anyway are not going to be taken care of in one evening. So that's when they kind of go through everything with the proponent and all the applicant.
All set, Counselor?
I am,
Thank you. Counselor Bonanza.
Thank you. My question is in relationship to your work for the town of Boylston. I happen to be involved in my daytime job in a particular matter that was before the Conservation Commission there that was pretty significant, that involved a whole lot of conditions. Can you tell me what your role was? And you may know the project I'm talking about. It was on Route 140, involving the FedEx building. Can you walk me through how, I noticed that you have some role in that, the preparation of those conditions. Can you tell me how that came to be?
Well, they are the ones at the meeting that will decide what conditions they want to put on. I basically will put them on the paper for them and make sure that everything gets out as normal, you know, to the applicants. But it is them themselves that come up with whatever they want to choose to put on. So I do not prepare the condition for them. They do it, I'll put it on paper.
In terms of the process, though, I understand that the policy is theirs, but in terms of the process, I mean, some of those are fairly complex. I'm gonna guess that they didn't go through just one draft. Was there, I mean, what, is there sort of interface or back and
No.
forth between you and sort of creating those?
Well, no, once they create them at the meeting,
Yeah.
they have it all set there, and I just take it from that point.
Okay.
And make sure it gets into the right form to send out.
Thank you.
All set, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Feckley?
Melanie, can you tell us a little bit about how you would handle, like specific complaints from the public that come before you in the office, or any egregious problems that you come?
Well, depending on what it was, what type of complaint it would be, I guess, if there's something I could handle in the office, if I could handle it, I would, if I could find the answer for them. Otherwise, I'd put it out to the board member, and if I had someone that was really unhappy, dissatisfied, and didn't like the answers that they were getting back, as I said, I would bring them to the town administrator, because he's the person that would would be to follow up with, since there's nobody else in the building. But primarily, I would see if there's something I couldn't kind of suffice them to get some type of answer from.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Ms. Rich, why should we hire you?
Because I'd be good for the job. I'm very organized. I like working with people. I have a good time working with people. I like working with a good bunch. And I enjoy what I do. And I'm, like I said, I'm enthusiastic, and right now I'm just like as nervous can be. Look, if I can spit out any words right now. But I just think I'd be a good fit because I get along with everyone. There's no one that I really don't get along with. And I bring, you know, as I said, my experience and my attitude to the job, I guess.
Thank you very much, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Am I dismissed?
Yeah, but no, you just, we're not that formal. We thank you for coming down here and,
Okay, so,
yeah.
good.
Okay?
You can stay, we have one more candidate.
Okay, so I can sit in the bunch?
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
God.
Thank you.
Oh, you did very well. Thank you.
I'm much better in person.
Yeah.
Third candidate here?
No.
Yeah, we have a little break.
Yeah.
Okay.
6:40. Yes.
Council's back in session. Titi, would you join us, please?
Sit right in that first one. Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for coming.
Hi.
You have the floor to Councilor Feckley.
So we have before us T.D. Seraphin from Winchendon. And T.D. is our third interview this evening. And T.D. we've met, we've Gail Feckley, and we have Councilor Shalfo Zephyr, you know Councilor Dombrowski, Councilor Frida, you know Councilor Marchand, Councilor David Cormier, and of course our clerk, Lynn Bouchard, Councilor David Cormier, Councilor Pauline Cormier, Councilor Frank Ardinger, and Councilor Mark Bedanza. Okay?
Okay, would any councilors like to ask any questions? Councilor Cormier.
Yeah, well, of course, you're a little unique, you do very, very similar work. So you come to us with a little bit of experience, and, I guess just based on what you know about, Leominster, how do you think the job would differ in Leominster versus what you're doing in Gardner now? Because I know that every community, their assistant has different tasks and responsibilities. So what are some of the things that would be new to you in Leominster that you currently might not do now in Gardner?
I mean, I think the only difference would be the population, because your population is bigger than ours. But maybe just adapting to how Leominster runs their rules and their regulations versus Gardner. I mean, I don't just do, I'm well-rounded in everything. I know how to do the entire floor, not just council, minutes, the agendas, vital records, voter registrations, elections. Most towns and cities have certain people designated, this person does that, this person does this. Because we're such a small office, there's only 2 of us in there, if you count the city clerk, but we run that whole entire office while he's in his office doing council stuff or whatever needs to get done for them. And the 2 of us just work on the floor and take care of everything else. So I'm very well-rounded in everything. I don't think there's much of a difference between how Gardner runs and Leominster runs. Maybe just adjusting to how, what time do you guys start, timestamp your meetings, when do you post them, getting stuff on the website and getting the news out there, and minor things.
So it sounds like you're pretty well adapted to all of the functions of a city clerk's office. And I guess I've asked this question to, the other 2 candidates, so I'll ask it to you as well. In this position, do you have to manage the office from time to time? I assume that would be your responsibility if the
All the time, every day, yep. So when the clerk is out too, I'm in charge as well, when he's not there. So if he can't cover the meeting, I cover the meeting, no biggie. It's the job.
So you've already done a lot of that. You have experience
I have
in all
8
that.
years' experience.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm good for the moment.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Any other councilors? Councilor Bedanza?
Have you reported to just one clerk, or has there been multiple people in that position since you've been there?
Just one clerk, Ellen Ignelli, the current clerk right now. He started 4 months before me, so before that was Kathleen Lisneski, who was there for like 40 plus years. She retired, Alan took over. 4 months later, I got hired, but I was just a regular clerk then, and he had not inherited, not the right word, but he was already assistant clerk. She ended up retiring early, so within 11 months of having the job of her retiring, I moved from regular clerk to assistant clerk in less than a year.
So Alan trained you?
Very well. He's a great boss. He's trained me very well.
He comes to the job with some unique experience himself, right?
Yes, he was former mayor of Gardner. He's also had been a city councilor as well. He's also worked for Bob Bryce. He knows a lot. He's trained me pretty well. We've done this whole experience together, so.
Thank you.
All set? Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yeah, thank you very much for coming down here tonight. So can you tell us why you were interested in this job?
It's an opportunity. You know, I've been with Gardner for 8 years, and I love Gardner. There's nothing wrong with it. But when opportunity knocks, you have to go for it. You know, the pay is a little more than what I would be getting, you know, versus Gardner. But that's a good thing. But it's not just that. It's just, I don't know. I just want to try something new, and it does not hurt to try. I don't want to look at the job and say, I should have tried, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You don't know until you try it. Life is about risks. I'm going for it. You know.
All set, Counselor? Thank you. Any other questions? Counselor Feckley?
T.D., what experience do you have with working for with the city council and for the city council?
Well, pretty much what Alan does, like whatever the city council needs something, if balanced, like he pretty much does most of it, but I'm always right behind him. So he always fills me in with what's going on with the meetings, the agendas, the packets, minutes. I take minutes, executive sessions. I mean, I work pretty close with him, because when he's not there, I'm in charge, you know. So I have to, everything he loves email, so I keep on touch with everything. He emails everybody with what's going on, what's being added to the agenda, when to post things and stuff. It's just, people just know to come to me. I pretty much do exactly what he does. But I don't attend the meetings with him as often, though, just as a need basis. That's the only difference.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Shalfo Zephyr?
Do individual counselors come to you and need support services from you? Do they have
Yes,
questions? and things?
Sometimes, because sometimes Alan's very busy in his office, or he's not there, or it's not available, and I can try to answer as best as I can. If someone needs a money order, I know where to find it. If someone needs to find an old ordinance or a code, I know where to find it. When someone comes in with I need this, there was a bylaw that passed something back in 1920, we had shelves of documents, like, I got it. If I have to go to the vault to get it, then I get it. But they do come to me. Sometimes it's just easier to just get through me before you get to him. It's quicker. And sometimes he doesn't want to do it, so I'll do whatever he doesn't want to do. So.
All set?
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Counselor Dabrowski?
Can you just describe for the council the various computer programs that you're familiar with or have, or are currently utilizing?
So I know all the software that the city clerk uses in their office, the VIRS with the voter registration, the, election nomination papers are out right now. I can do the certifying the elections, the census. Then we have our regular online-based program for the vital records, which I already know how to do training on, because all of our vital records is now online, aside from marriages. I know how to run that software, so it should be easy for me to, you don't really need to train me how to do that. Then it's the basic Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those kind of documents I can do too. I do brush up on, every now and then, if there's a course comes up for, like Excel, to a refresher. I take a course at the college just to have a refresher how to use Excel spreadsheet, probably my one thing, because that changes a lot. But I'm pretty much good with Microsoft Office and computers, and plus I'm kind of part of the millennial stage, so I'm good with using tablets, Chrome, social media, the internet. We take care of our own website from the city clerk's office on our webpage, where I have to post our meetings online. And so if something's not right on there, I change the clerk's page to, we just have control of the clerk's page, so I can change whatever I want on there. So I know how to use the website and coding, stuff like that.
Thank you. Anything else? All set?
All set.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, T.D., why should we hire you?
Because I already do the job now. I mean, I am an assistant city clerk for Gardner at the moment. I've been working in there for 8 years. If I come in, there's not much training for me. I already know what the software, the programs, how the city clerk runs, how the office runs. I mean, I've told this story to the Ways and Means Committees that there was a time when my colleague was out and the city clerk was on vacation in Vegas. I ran the entire city clerk's office by myself for 6 days, just me. And I had to put a council meeting together and an agenda packet all by myself. I didn't get much of a break, but I did it. I didn't have to close the office. I probably closed it probably like 15, 20 minutes just to get a quick breath of fresh air and something to eat, but I can run the office. I know how things work. I know when nomination papers come in. I know how to do an election. I know it all. I mean, I do. I have 8 years experience in it, so
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other final comments or questions? If not, thank you for coming down this evening.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
very much. For now.
Oh, okay. I go home or,
No, you can stay for whatever you have in this meeting.
okay. Thank you.
Before we get into the next process, would any councilors like any more time to review any paperwork, resumes, or anything that you might have before we bring this to a vote? We're good? We're good, okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion on the floor. It's open to the population of the council as a whole. Does anyone have a motion? Council Bonanza.
I'll move to appoint T.T. Serafin as our next Assistant City Clerk with great deference to the other candidates, so I thought did a wonderful job and obviously have some wonderful skills. But I would move that at this joint.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Council David Cormier. Are there any questions or comments on the floor? If not, the name T.D. Serafin is before us for a roll call vote, beginning with, excuse me. I'm sorry, I didn't see your arm. I apologize.
No, I just have a comment. I just want to thank all three candidates for coming down. Everybody, has and brings to the table different skills and really important skills, and I just wanted to say thank you very much. And the vote should not reflect, any kind of negative. It's not any kind of negative feedback, and I just want to say personally that I really appreciate everybody coming down tonight. And it's very, very hard to sit there in public on, local access television and talk about yourself. It's really hard, and so thank you very much. I think you all did a really great job.
Well said, Councilor. Thank you. Councilor Cormier.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to, I also want to thank all three candidates there. They're really all very, very, very good. And also the committee, for all the hard work that they put in. I went through this when I was council president in 2016. We had to hire an assistant, and it had been a while. Fortunately, it had been a while that since we had to do this, and laws had changed, and the way we got to go about conducting business. And I know that we, used Copeland and Page, and I requested, a lot of information from them so that I could make sure that we were doing things the right way. And I have no doubt, I don't know who all the candidates that applied were, and I'm really not concerned with who all the names were. Doesn't matter to me. I have no doubt that the best candidates were before us tonight, so I just want to also thank the committee once again for all their hard work.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier. Any other comments or questions? Councilor Feckley.
I would like to thank the committee, Councilor Dabrowski and Councilor Frida, for all their hard work and, the nights that we spent looking at applications and talking about candidates and interviewing candidates. I'd also like to thank President Marchand for his assistance with this, especially as far as, making sure we were staying in the legal realm. And I'd also like to thank very much City Clerk Lynn Bouchard for her assistance. She's been invaluable in this process. And I hope that for the committee, we'll speak to the committee, that we brought before you three, what we wanted to do is bring before you three candidates that were more than qualified, some in the same ways, some in different ways. And we wanted you to have a choice. So I hope that that's what we brought before you tonight.
Thank you very much. Well said. Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr.
Yeah, thank you very much. I also want to thank the committee, but I do want to give a special thank you to Councilor Feckley, to my right, who is the chair, and I think has done an outstanding job in terms of being organized, professional, moved everything right along. She's done an outstanding job, so thank you, Councilor.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, again, the name before us for confirmation is T.D. Serafin. The This will be a roll call vote for confirmation, beginning with Councilor David Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Frank Ottinger.
Yay.
Councilor Bonanza.
Yay.
Councilor Feckley.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Dabrowski.
Yay.
Councilor Frida. I should record as yea by a vote of 9-0. Confirmation has taken place. Congratulations. Okay, I guess that's it for the matters before the council. I just want to remind everyone we have a busy schedule coming up in the community. This Saturday morning at 10 o'clock at Leominster High School, there was a walk for Mrs. Bro, who is a lifelong member of the Leominster High School staff in the capacity of a nurse. And it's in her honor. And, you know, we try to get the community out there as much as we can. We do have a couple of Little League happenings already. The 28th at noontime, the National Little League has their opening ceremony. Unfortunately, at the same time, on the 28th, the Lassie League has their ceremony happening as well. So maybe we can kind of split up a little bit to represent each other on that. Okay, so just, is there anything else on community calendar happening? We're good? Council, go ahead.
There was, on Saturday morning, Congressman Jim McGovern is coming to town. He's going to be at the First Parish Unitarian Church, along with another, it's a community forum, really, for people to talk, you know, to bring issues and concerns. So he will be there, and I think it's at 10 o'clock.
Said this Saturday morning?
It is the Saturday morning.
Okay.
It is Saturday morning at the Unitarian Church.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else? If not, motion to adjourn? Thank you, seconded? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Congratulations.
The Leominster City Council meeting is brought to you by the generous support of the Service Oil Company, 345R Lancaster Street, Leominster, 978-466-1922.